Well, howdy, y'all. We just got back from Kingsman, the Golden Circle, and, well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, especially when I'm as excited as I was for this film. All right, I ain't gonna talk like that the whole film. So I'm starting to lose my voice, so hopefully it'll come back here shortly. But we did go out and check out Kingsman 2. I was super excited.
Had high hopes.
Yeah.
High hopes.
I thought the trailer looked fucking badass.
Trailer looked real good.
I was real excited. I was like, man, I really hope they make the statesman real fucking cool in the film. And directed by Matthew Vaughn, which I really appreciated the Superman tease right at the beginning. The camera kind of pans in and it says Kingsman on the store, and they've got the mannequins in the background, and the S is right there on the chest like Superman. And I could clearly tell he's a fan of the Superman. He's in talks to try to direct Man of Steel 2. Now, I really wanted him to direct Man of Steel 2. But after this film, I was like, all right, well, okay. Yeah, maybe still. But I think that it's not as good as the first.
Definitely.
This suffers a little bit of the sequelitis.
Oh, yeah.
Where you got lots of callbacks to the original. And
Too many.
Well, that was honestly, in my opinion, some of the best parts of the film when it reminded me of the original.
Oh, there's a better one. Yeah.
It's just what happens here is it goes beyond cartoonish. I'd have to say.
There was an interesting cameo that lasts a really long time.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in spoilers. It's unnecessarily long. You have to be a big fan of this particular gentleman because he almost became a main character. Yeah. So I'm getting a little sidetracked. Basically, story of Kingsman: The Golden Circle is you've got this underground drug empire that pretty much has control of all the drugs in the world now. That basically sneaks in some sort of virus and puts the whole world at risk and attacks the Kingsman headquarters. And our Kingsmen are pretty much the last members of their order, and they have to find some help and obviously stop this global threat. And they find some help from their local, from their cousins over there in the U.S. of A. They went real hard on the Southerners. There's nobody from the North, apparently, in the Statesman. I was getting a little annoyed by that, but hey, you know, if that's what you think of America, that's fine. But what do you think of the film?
It was fine.
It was fine?
So, my expectations were not as high as their expectations.
Yeah.
I knew this was going to be a turn your brain off, things are going to blow up. There's going to be bad Southerners because we knew that. People are going to be spitting, which we knew that. We knew all the things that we thought were going to happen. The story was
excessive spitting.
Some characters I wanted to be in for a really long time weren't, and some ones that I didn't know were going to be in there were all in there for a really long time. I thought it was an enjoyable turn your brain off action movie. Don't go rush out and see it, but if you do, whatever.
That opening sequence you've seen in the trailer where he's jumping on the car and he's having the fight during the chase, fantastic. Like, I was really wowed and impressed by the way the camera moves and how they get these fucking shots. Yeah. So hats off to, Matthew Vaughn there for being able to direct action really, really well. Unfortunately, it seems like the dialogue and the story didn't really match the high amounts of action. What do you think, Joe?
Honestly, I did not like the plot points, or some of the subplot points.
Yeah.
Like, completely just turned me off to it. I got bored by
it. I kind of appreciated that they kept the storyline going. They brought back many characters from the original. They felt as if they needed to bring back the best part, Colin Firth.
Yeah.
And as Galahad. And I don't know. He didn't really seem to factor in too much. He didn't have sort of the badass impact and really the reason to sort of resurrect him from the original. Now, I kind of respected the original in the sense that nobody's safe and people die. And that's kind of Matthew L. Jackson's character shoots. A little bit of a spoiler here if you hadn't seen the first one, but he shoots and kills the first Galahad, and that's how we get the younger guy taking over Galahad. But bring him back here. And but they do kill off a bunch of characters in this film, and kind of unceremoniously so.
Yeah, it wasn't a big deal.
They whereas the first one was played for some real emotion. Here, almost every single character that dies gets no real send-off except for one in particular, which we won't spoil. So, yeah, I don't know. It really felt flat.
It did. I mean, to go over, there was a lot of times where they killed someone off, and the only reason that we knew the characters were sad is they literally said, "I'm sad because of this reason." There was no showing of any, and had they not mentioned it, I would have totally forgot that people
Yeah,
had
they
died.
try to push that emotional card on you so many times, but it just never stuck.
The problem for me, the problem was the suspension of disbelief got it mounted a little bit too much here, and I'm like, oh, what? Okay, now you do okay. All right, fuck it. You know, and while I appreciate some elements like robot dogs and fucking, you know, robot things in here and there, and sort of the tongue-in-cheek 50s style of the main bad guy, you know, I like a lot of that, but in this film pushes that cartoon envelope way past acceptable levels, where the original was doing a sort of parody of the spy films, but it showed restraint in certain areas. This one just says, fuck it, and it goes really far. And it goes far in the comedic directions that it loses its own audience. It kind of doesn't really know what it wants to be. While it has competent action scenes, the story itself meanders a little bit. And we get subplots between the Swedish princess that asked to be or that she would allow you to fuck her in the ass if you saved the world. Okay, they call back to that several times. And you know, with how her relationship is going to be with this spy who sometimes has to fuck chicks to save the world. You know, and so a lot of these subplots sort of fall on its face, and the return of the original Galahad is like, yeah. But I will say, the Statesman. I wanted the Statesman's impact in the film to be good and original, and it was. But then I ended up, especially with
Pedro Pascal.
Viper,
Oh, yeah.
The Red Viper. I think he did a fantastic job as Statesman. Made the Statesman look fucking cool. However, I think the
That's a cool
Statesman
action shot.
was a little. It was in the film a little too much. You know, I came for Kingsman. While I wanted to see Statesman, I'm fucking dressed up as a statesman, right? But it was just too much. You have Halle Berry's character, who is another sort of, you know, wizard or information person for these knights.
She's their Merlin.
She's their own Merlin. And her and, what's his name?
Armstrong?
No, Channing Tatum.
Tequila.
The characters in there. Tequila, Agent Tequila. They all have, you know, alcohol names over there in the Statesman. And, they just really didn't have much to do in the film. And it's like, what's the point of having these?
Wasted
and you see the point by the end of the film that they're trying to set up another sequel with these characters. And by then I'm like, nah. I mean, if you had to reach down deep in there and pull back an obvious dead character because you're scared that maybe, you know, it wouldn't work without him, I'm not going to go see a Kingsman 3 just for Channing Tatum and Halle Berry. It's just not happening, especially with the weak writing in this film. You know, performances by the what would you think about performances?
The performance was really good. I think that they did the best they could with what they were given. It was really, really hard to believe the motivations of the bad guys. Made no goddamn sense, and it was just kind of thrown in there at the
It's
last
cartoony.
minute.
You
And
know,
it just-
Poppy
Yeah.
is this drug lord, Julianne Moore, and you know she's what the press. Yeah,
Not just her though, like other bad guys in the film that we can talk about later that just kind of come in and you just didn't believe them. But the actors did a good job, but it was just poor writing.
Whereas this one had, I believe it had a lot more CGI than the first. And that kind of took me out a little bit of the action scenes when that would happen. And I think that the strength was in all of the choreography, the action choreography, the sort of martial arts with the British, you know, gentleman style. That stuff was great. And we got less of that in this film, and action in sort of a different way. So ultimately a little bit of a disappointment for me. So I'm curious to see what these guys' final ratings are. And stay tuned for our spoiler section, where we can tell you exactly why we felt the film fell flat and went a little too far in places. So let's start with OtherJoe.
Okay, well, First of all, yeah, I did like the action. I like the Statesman gunplay on that. That was pretty fucking awesome.
Oh yeah,
That was
fucking
awesome.
the one scene with Pedro,
scene?
Adrian Tequila. He was like
Killing people.
He knew how to.
He was
fucking
equilibrium.
use-
He was gun kata.
Gun kata, but Texan style.
I
You
like
know,
that.
there are
like
some
that.
good scenes in this film.
There
Don't get
is,
me
there
wrong.
is. So,
Thank you for bringing
so
that
there's
up.
that, but I did not like the plot
Mm-hmm.
at all. Made no sense. I did not believe Julian Moore as the bad guy. Wasted characters. There's
Yeah, wasted characters. Yeah.
and basically I'm gonna have to give this a 6. A little bit above average, but
Slightly above average. Yeah.
honestly,
It
I
feels
wouldn't see
rough,
this
right?
again. Yeah, like I wouldn't see this again.
Yeah. Would you recommend people to go out and see it?
If you got nothing to do, yes. Go watch it.
Okay. What about you, Alex?
So I agree. So I agree with the rating, but for different reasons than OJ. I liked Julianne Moore's character. It was like she's supposed to be a little crazy, and they did an okay job kind of explaining it. So I didn't mind that at all. So the action scenes were pretty good. Some of the action scenes were pretty good. Some of them made no sense and added nothing to the film, and it ate up a really long time. So there's times where you're supposed to be excited and it's thrilling, and you're just sitting there, come on, we're only an hour in the movie. We can resolve this so we can get on to the next scene.
Does seem pretty long too.
Yeah.
A longer movie than maybe unnecessarily long, or maybe that's just because the middle's just sort of drags.
It did.
This didn't do a good job blending because this is like an action comedy, and the last Kingsman was actually pretty humorous. Samuel L. Jackson was incredible because he's the bad guy that's afraid of violence, and that was fun. It was humorous, but it wasn't trying to be funny the whole time. This one tried to be funny
real
a
hard.
lot.
Yeah.
And so there were some scenes where, it's at the end, we're at the climax of the film, and then they're trying to make you laugh, and it just felt inappropriate. Like, it wasn't a good blend of action and comedy.
Yeah.
So I do also give this one a 6.
There are some crass scenes in this about how he needs to get I didn't understand, just the tracker. It needs to go onto a mucous membrane. So they choose sort of an obvious choice, obviously. Anyway, so I'd probably, so 6 out of 10, 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, as excited as I was and as amazing as the trailer looked, you will go in and come out slightly disappointed. I was a big fan of the first, and I think the first is far superior to this film. But if you want more of the action, so I think this you could go and see if you enjoyed the first and you want more, knowing it's not going to be as good as the first. But if you've never experienced Kingsman, don't go in with this one. Watch the original, save a bit of money. I'm going to go 6 out of 10 as well. We are being rough on. I'm sure we're going to get downvoted like a motherfucker because we're critics, all right? Not just regular moviegoers, and we got to tell you, for all intents and purposes, it'll probably disappoint you if you're looking for it to, exceed the expectations. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and stick around if you want spoilers. All right, guys? See you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys. All right, now welcome to the spoiler section. We can get all the nitty gritty, Joe. And don't.
So explain to me Poppy's plan. Why did she want to legalize it? Just to get taxed? She would get more money if
She wanted to legalize all drugs. I'm gonna give a little context.
Yeah, she wants to legalize all drugs because she's this huge drug queenpin. But by legalizing and having a tax and all these other things, she'd make significantly less money. Yes, it made absolutely no goddamn sense.
She would make less money. Nobody knows who she is. So I don't know why she's
That's why
hiding.
Joe was like,
why is she in hiding if nobody knows who the fuck she is?
It doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
I know it doesn't make sense. I was more willing to let that go. What the
with
fuck?
the cartoony stuff.
What the fuck is up with Elton John being in this movie for 20 minutes?
I agree, man. Even if you're a big fan of Elton John, man, you got to be a huge fan of Elton John. He was almost a main character. He's doing karate moves, throwaway jokes with, "Hey, I'm a celebrity, I'm a legend," and this and that. And I'm like, all right, man, I came for Kingsman, not for Elton John.
When he was on there, I thought he was going to be a real short cameo.
Yeah,
and he's on the stage,
it was good.
and he says "fuck," and I lost it. I was like, this is going to be great. And then he's on the
By
in
the
movie.
end,
He's
by
just
the time-
cursing the entire movie. It's like,
By the time he marries the
Elton.
Swedish princess, and he's like, yeah, and I'm like, ah,
go away, Elton John.
go away. And I don't want to be like, go away. You know what I mean?
Don't ruin Elton John. I love Elton
Yeah,
John.
so the thing is, we have all of these suspension of disbelief. Yes, it's a cartoon world, but it was inappropriate in some places that it's like, really? That's fucking stupid. So everybody starts to get infected. But yet they get infected all at the same time, as if these drugs are distributed at the same time at every hour on every day.
And the virus,
right?
you know,
Somebody would have got infected first, and the authorities would have been like, all right, quarantine these people and stuff. And they sort of do that here, but here everybody gets infected at the same time, and they all put them in cages, which makes no sense. They put them in prisons and stack them on the little... I know it's supposed to be like a little joke, but it was stupid as fuck, and you would have got more emotional impact out of cramming people into stadiums and them being like, let us out, and blah, blah,
But
blah.
you do know that people are dying because they literally show you a couple people dying,
Their
but
eyes
there's
exploding.
like someone's eyes explode, like they're bleeding out of their eyes. I mean, and then they change scenes, and there's no one mentions, oh, people are dying now. It's
Yeah.
like, no, you still have time to save the whole world.
The biggest thing is it has got a little bit of a political message here, which I'm really surprised the way they use Fox News. They were like, hey, Fox News, you want to be in our movie, we'll pay you. And they're like, yeah, sure. Let us review the scenes first to make sure you're not making fun of us. And they were like, yeah, it'll be fine. And then Fox News sees, well, don't you pee on my back and tell me it's raining, because that's exactly what they did. They took a big shit on Fox News without them knowing it. So they're the major news source in this. And the president says, you know what? Fuck all these drug addicts.
Murder all.
Just, I'm going to go,
win-win.
fuck it, win-win. They're all fucking druggies and they'll die, so I'm going to make the decision to kill all these people, which is fucking stupid. And they try to put an emotional element with his aide, who also needs, medicinal stuff or whatever.
She did
Just 'cause
cocaine or
she's
something.
stressed out.
Oh, yeah, she did cocaine, that's right, or
She
speed.
did something. She's stressed
And
out.
he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, he's like, nope, go.
And there's several scenes where I can forgive stuff like using a parachute in order to stop.
No, let's go from the
a
beginning.
ski- okay.
Let's go from the
Yeah.
beginning. There is the classic scene. It's been in how many Bond movies where they're on the ski slopes in the Italian Alps,
Yeah.
and they're going down in the gondola thing. But this one can rotate. But apparently, through a remote control iPad that the bad guy has on the cliff face, that just
Very
magically
clever.
connects, he can make it spin and like put massive G forces on these
Yeah.
people. So much so that they're blacking out. So let's say I like 2 Gs, 3 Gs before. I don't know when you black out. But these guys are blacking out. So good old laser lasso cuts a hole in it. And then laser lassos the steel cable and cuts it off. And
here we
then
go.
they
Woo.
swing down.
And we don't hit the side, but we sort of ski down the hill.
Barely made
And then there's all these
Old people.
American old people on the Italian Alps in a retirement condo, speaking English, talking about like seeing the thing sliding towards them, and then
It'd have been funnier if they were Italians. I didn't notice that. Yeah.
And then the Kingsman, I don't know what, Eggsy puts Pedro Pascal's back through the little hole that he cut and pulls the parachute cord. And rather than rip his torso off and decapitate him, the
Was that thing
parachute
going?
naturally has this several-ton glass case, and it stops right
It's
before
pretty
all the
bad.
old people.
But so stuff like that we could forgive because you're doing hyper stylized action. But at certain times the movie wants to take itself serious, but it has these big holes in logic. Like it turns out that Agent Whiskey, Pedro Pascal, the cowboy wearing hat, Channing Tatum not in the film at
No,
all.
he's
Not
not.
a factor.
Wasted.
I was wasted.
He was wasted,
right?
so was Jeff.
I was really pissed off about that. Jeff Bridges wasted. All right, so and Halle Berry, nothing to do. So he comes back at the end, and they have a great fight at the end. But by then, I've had a little bit too much of the spinning camera work. But he says, "Well, I can't let you, release the antidote because my girlfriend died by a junkie."
And my stock price is going to go up.
Whatever, some
Yeah.
bullshit. But he's like, slide that box with the codes that releases the antidote over here. Motherfucker, just fucking shoot the damn
He has
fucking
a gun
thing.
pointed on
Or lasso that with the electric instead of putting the lasso around, fucking Galahad's neck. So,
So that's the other subplot that I didn't like.
And the antidote actually being released via drones.
Amazon drones.
There's no fucking way it would reach anybody or nobody would barely get the antidote. And they know where all the drug addicts are at in the world. Was that programmed into each individual drone? And so a lot of these things piled on to each other. And it was in such excess with Elton John in your face every fucking time when I want to focus on the Kingsman. I want to focus on, you know, the bad guys being bad and shit and whatever.
Elton John beats near to death 3 professional bodyguards.
Yeah.
He does a flying
With a karate
jump kick and knocks some guy.
He's breaking the fourth wall, or what is it?
Oh, and while breaking the fourth wall, because he's like, I'm sure he's winking at the camera.
Yeah,
like
he
pointing.
totally was. He's like looking, he's winking, smiling, then he kicks him.
It was just awful. It started to break down by the third act. I was really impressed by the first act. Gotta tell you that.
Yep.
The taxi cab scene, the fact that the Kingsman group is fucked. They literally hack into. It's a mistake that they leave this robotic arm behind that he just finished fighting this rejected Kingsman. Hacks into the whole system, finds out where all the Kingsmen are, launches missiles. They don't have anti-missile defenses. Fine. But it kills off all the characters from the first film. You know, we get one back. But, you know, it's just like, that would set up tension. And you're like, okay, fuck, they need to go get help from the Statesman. And they first meet the Statesman. Channing Tatum does manage to take out 2 fucking Kingsmen. Kicks the shit out of him. But that's not enough for me to watch a Channing Tatum Kingsman. No thanks. But at that point is when the film starts to go downward.
What did you think of the music? So I was excited because in
the
the first trailer,
weird.
Frank. There
was good music.
They played like Frank Sinatra's "My Way," and the trailer was like, "Oh, this is kind of cool. Maybe it's gonna be in the movie."
Yeah.
It wasn't in there. There was a lot of weird, like 80s and 90s pop songs done in the country style. When they the one like the word when they played like the country version of Word Up, I just like I'm done. Like I don't need this because and I really loved the church scene from the first one.
Yeah,
because it's during the guitar solo of Freebird, right?
Yeah.
And so it's really exciting. And then at this one, it just didn't do it.
Nothing reaches that level in this one. And I think a lot of people will expect that and they won't get it. In fact, the final boss battle is incredibly disappointing. They go to this empire apparently has all the drugs, right? So they'll have all the money. Their profits were $150 billion, right? But they go there and there's literally 6 fucking guards in this mega compound. There's 6 guards and 2 robotic dogs.
Someone has to man the drones to deliver the antidote to literally everyone in the world.
So they approach this area. Merlin steps on a... No, it's Eggsy that steps on a mine. Mm-hmm. And Merlin saves his life and steps on the mine for him. And then he starts singing this god dang song that I like, but is so overplayed in movies for some reason these days.
It's a second Channing Tatum movie.
Logan Lucky was all over there, Country Road, and so he's singing Country Road, and it's supposed to be this emotional thing, and I'm like, I'm tired of this fucking song. So, you know, Mark Strong kills himself to take out the 6 guards that were guarding this compound. Then all the chefs and the fucking barber and shit has to take up guns to defend the drug lords who's about to take over the world.
Did you play... So in Fallout 4, one of the expansions is like Nuka World. Like her base looked exactly like Nuka World.
Yeah. I liked the 50s thing, but I was hoping they'd do more with it. And they didn't really do more with it. So, robotic dogs... It's a cool idea on paper, like fucking sharks with fucking laser beams attached to their heads. They were trying to do something like that, but it just... Oh, all right, guys, I'm losing my voice. Anything else?
So Eggsy, at the beginning of the movie, after he gets out of the taxi scene fight, he swims through a river of shit because he has to get to some movie. So everyone's expecting he's going to go meet, the Swedish king and queen, his girlfriend's parents. And it turns out he's meeting his friends at a birthday party that didn't matter. It didn't seem like there was any...
It didn't seem urgent.
And nothing was urgent about it. And
Wait a minute. I just realized that disconnect. I thought he went to go see his girlfriend. It was really important.
He swam through the poop sewer
to go fucking
deliver that
do
nasty...
drugs?
do drugs and deliver the birthday cake.
That's it.
Yeah.
I gotta say, yeah, and there's a lot of his friends dying for no reason. The guy that takes care of his dog is fucking dead.
Oh, that's the thing that pissed me off. Eggsy has his buddy house sit for him, and his house, of course, is like the spy mansion, right?
They got great, cute dogs. Just cute dogs all over the place in this film.
The dog wants to get into the spy room, and so the friend accidentally lets him in the spy room, sits down at the desk, and starts fiddling with stuff, and then the wall opens up, and then there's hand grenades and the super glasses.
That was such a great scene. It's like, what the fuck?
It's like nothing's hidden at all. It was just literally a switch on the desk. It's like, all right, this is the hand grenade button.
turntable. He pressed the button. Everything's.
He couldn't hide that a little better from his friends. So that friend gets fucking dead. His dog gets dead. I'm like, oh yeah, it's gonna be a John Wick situation up in here. But the film never gets into that next gear. The first act, fucking amazing. He just cracking heads, murdering people and stuff by the end of the film. And you feel like it should have been gratifying to kill off these characters and stuff in ways like this. But because there wasn't any emotion, you were like, oh, well, you're kind of a dick. Yeah. Couldn't arrest him or something? Whatever.
Yeah, I'm going to fight you with my arm behind my back for no reason. Just why?
Badass.
No,
I liked Eggsy. He was probably the better part. He was one of the better parts of the film. It's just the material here didn't live up to it, and it took it too far in certain areas. But yeah.
Also, it was really super convenient that So it was really convenient that when they gave. So at the very end, Julianne Moore has this super thing that you type the password into, and everyone magically gets the antidote with Amazon drones. And they had to get this password, and so they're rather than like a truth serum or anything, they just literally inject her with heroin.
Yeah, and kill her.
And accidentally kill her.
Oops! Oh yeah, that's a huge plot.
Right before she dies, she just goes, "Viva Las Vegan," and falls down and dies.
Oh,
the last thing she said must have been her password, right?
Oops! I gave her too much, even though it seemed like he did it on purpose to kill her off. But your girlfriend, like everything that you would be a little more fucking careful.
Yeah,
You think so? Fucking stupid.
But why
and
would
then
he put
finally,
that much? He's like, look, this is all you need.
He can hack into that guy's like robotic arm with his watch just by going, "All right, I control your arm now," and he couldn't hack a computer terminal.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
And then Joe, talk about the final scene they set up here to add insult to injury.
Which one was it?
The very final scene.
Honestly, I forgot about the movie now.
Really? Well, it's Channing Tatum's character shows up in England or Scotland, I think maybe. And he's got a bowler hat on, and he's got the throwback cowboy boots, but he's in a Kingsman suit,
double-breasted suit,
and he's about to be the next Kingsman. All right, and Halle Berry's gonna be out gonna be the new Merlin. No thanks.
New whiskey. No, she's an agent.
She wants to be an agent.
So why? So that was. I thought it was going to be a big point. She mentions, like in passing, that she's trying to be a field agent over and over and over. Mm-hmm. But whiskey keeps voting against her.
Mm-hmm. The bad guy.
One of the bad guys
turns out to be the bad guy.
But we didn't know anything about that. So he's a secret sexist as well as a dick.
Yeah. They're gonna take a while to rebuild the fucking England. And I felt like, man, they're kicking America while we're down. Honestly, I thought they were gonna sort of the statesmen were gonna be cool and it seemed like they were more glorifying England and we're better than America.
There was a lot of spitting in this movie. Channing Tatum spits a lot. He plugs a hole in a leaking whiskey barrel with chewing tobacco, which was super gross. Yeah. Jeff Bridges is constantly spitting whiskey into tequila in a spit bucket for some reason.
And they then plus we have dudes that are fucking assholes on our fucking team, and I don't know. I just wanted us to be cousins and brothers and in equals, or actually I would lean more towards I want the Kingsmen to be cooler and the statesmen to just back them up, but they kind of went a little overboard on how in America everybody's a dumbass. Or everybody's a Republican and wants to kill all drug users and stuff, even though there would be more compassion, even amongst, people that do think everybody who does drugs is a criminal. Still, when you're packing everybody into fucking cages and shit, and not one U.S. military guys, I'm not executing this as order.
This is a concentration camp is what this is.
Yeah, I am not executing this order. No generals would be like, we're not fucking doing that, President. So, I don't know. Anyways.
Why was Jeff Bridges constantly sniffing his two fingers?
It was a cigar.
When he had the cigar, it made sense he was sniffing his fingers after he was holding the cigar, but the rest of the movie he was sniffing his two fingers.
Man,
Watch the movie. It happened.
I love Jeff
Several
Bridges.
times.
I love Jeff Bridges.
Yeah,
Why is he
they
staring at his
wasted
finger?
him though.
Every movie you can, every movie get worse. All right, guys.
I kind of wanted a little clarification. During a shootout, it was the Kingsman and the Statesman.
Mm-hmm.
Was Harry shoots Whiskey. He's like, well, he's a traitor.
Yeah.
Well, how did he? Why?
Because he saw him blow up the vial, like knock down the vial.
That was
Well,
his only indication,
was
is
his
that
only
he
thing.
knocks the
He
vial,
saved the guy,
the antidote out of the
He was gonna
hand.
get shot. He's like, get down. That's
Yeah, that was a little excessive.
was like, well-
Also, I alluded to it, but didn't want to spoil it. The
Spoilers.
tracking device. Eggsy needs to put a tracking device in the vagina, so we get a nice close up of the chick's pussy
you didn't
when
have
fucking
to, but
he's
they
fingering
did.
her, and we
Yeah,
get a
so-
nice. So guys in the theater, I mean, I guess if you're into that
I
shit,
was
you're
like,
like,
are you
yeah,
really-
fuck,
are they really? Yeah,
your
they
finger,
are.
dude,
They are.
do the running man, yeah, you know. So you're like, huh. If it needed to get in the bloodstream, why couldn't you just, I don't know, put it in her mouth?
You're a spy. You have a watch that has a knockout function.
But so,
They had
hey,
it-
yeah, they shoot this thing all fucking film long, but they couldn't use that. But they did it in order to set up the love subplot where he's got to fuck her, or he's got to woo her, and he calls his Swedish princess girlfriend and says, "I got to do this," and she gets mad at him. So it's to set that up, and it's for like the fucking dude bros, like, yeah, dude, finger her. You know, this is the greatest movie ever. Fuck yeah.
The chick wanted to get peed on. Like, just knock
Yeah,
her off
just-
your watch.
Yeah, just fucking pee.
Also,
pee
why?
on her.
Why?
What?
Why did we just immediately jump there? Like, was that necessary in the movie? She's like, if you want to pee, you can just pee on me.
Well, that would, but that's the point you made. Where like, if she's into that, then just put your finger in her mouth or something.
yeah. I don't know.
Whatever.
I was like, you sick. You sick. You disgusting.
You ain't never peed on a girl, Joe?
No, man.
Man, Johnny, you ain't a man until you pee on a girl, or what is
I'm a man.
Happy Gilmore? All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next Angry Joe show. Later, partner.